Hey everyone, I've been thinking about doing videos like this for a while, and I thought this would be the perfect one to start. This is my first time, pretty new at this, so if I have some technical difficulties, please forgive me. Also, I'll be completely surprised if we make it through this whole thing without my dogs interrupting. So through this video, I'll be going through the slides from the chapter on my computer. So for those of you who can watch, you'll have that visual aid to follow along with. But I also know some people drive a long time, so I'm hoping you can also utilize this most like a podcast in your car. So, hey, thanks for taking your time to follow along. So this chapter is chapter 3 in the Salon Fundamentals textbook. This is Business Basics. The more you know about the business aspects of a skincare center, the better prepared you are to take advantage of future career opportunities. So whether or not you're planning on opening your own business at this point in time, this information is good for you to have because you never know where life is going to take you. You never know what opportunities are going to arise for you. And it'll provide a good foundation for you to kind of understand what's going on in a skincare center, and provide some kind of like clarity and perception into what's actually getting put into a facility that you may be working for. Starting and operating and building an efficient and profitable skincare center requires specialized knowledge and skills. Learning the operational, financial, and management needs of a skincare center will improve your professional status and prepare you for business ownership should you choose this career option. In this chapter, we'll be going over self-appraisal, finances, business essentials, expert advice, and plans for a successful skincare center. After this lesson, you'll be able to describe the financial and legal essentials for starting a business. In the second part of this chapter, we'll be going over expenses and income, hiring, skincare center philosophy, policy, and procedures. So starting in your text on page 69, the opportunity, the excitement, the challenge of working for yourself and of starting a business of your own can be an appealing goal from early on. When you reach a certain level of achievement in your career, you may wish to operate your own skincare center dedicated exclusively to skincare. The successful business owner, through ambition and hard work, can enjoy personal and financial freedom, security, and the creative freedom to develop and build a successful business. Even if you have never thought of business ownership or already know that you do not have a desire to own a skincare center, it is beneficial for you to know the fundamental principles of business ownership and operations. Understanding the inner workings of a skincare center will allow both you and the owner to meet goals together. Self-appraisal. A successful business owner does not have to be all the things to all the people, although a lot of us try. The esthetician planning to open a skincare center should assess his or her skills carefully to pinpoint performance strengths and weaknesses. Paying attention to the personal strengths and weaknesses allows any business owner to hire employees who are skilled in areas of need or who complement the owner's skills. This is also an excellent assessment for if you're considering going into business with a partner. It's important that you both be really honest with yourselves and with each other to find out what you can cover between the two of you, or maybe three of you, it could be more, and what you're going to need to delegate. And I promise, learning the lesson of how to delegate is one of the best things that you can do as a business owner. Skills essential to a successful business owner include the ability to Recognize skincare trends and technical expertise. While the skincare center owner need not excel in every service performed, he or she must be able to recognize great practical skills and hire staff accordingly. Communicate with the public, not only in ordinary situations, but also in unusual or difficult circumstances. Remember the word tact. Accept suggestions and criticism from clients and staff. Always a good skill to have. Must be able to exert self-control. That's going to be important in a lot of ways. Manage the financial operations of a skincare center or work with a professional bookkeeper or accountant. There you go. That's kind of one of the probably most common areas that people hire out for. Establish and adjust pricing in accordance with local economic factors. So there are companies that can help you do that. And some pricing may be based on your product usage and cost of supplies. One must also be able to generate business through promotion and set realistic business goals. These skills can be learned and developed through study and hard work. The experience gained by working as an esthetician provides invaluable opportunities to watch and learn about management and financial matters. Poor or inexperienced management and or poor bookkeeping systems have been the cause of failure for many businesses. In addition, many local colleges and universities offer management and business training that can complement your aesthetics education to help you become the owner of a successful business. Some of these things, again, you may choose to do on your own with a partner, and some of these things can be hired out for. That's why it's important for you to be honest with yourself, with your self-appraisal. So let's talk finances. Anyone who considers opening a business must have money to invest. Few people have the thousands of dollars needed to equip and supply a skincare center. Therefore, you must prove you are a good risk before a financial institution will lend you money. Preparing a business plan and personal financial statement is the first step towards securing a loan. You want to start a business, but how? For one thing, you need to have a business plan. Basically, this is the central company document that you and your employees use to make decisions. Many times, a business plan is how lenders determine whether or not to loan you money. There are many resources available to help you do this, such as books, software programs, or internet sites that feature sample business plans. Just go to a search engine and type in quote, sample business plan, end quote. There are some business plan essentials that you need to be aware of. Some elements of a business plan: the executive summary, origin of company, company goals, market potential, marketing strategy, 3 to 5 year financial projection, and an exit plan. The executive summary outlines your goals and objectives. Origin of the company describes how it began. Company goals are lists short and long-term goals. Market potential describes why your product or service would be in demand by a large market. Marketing strategy describes how you plan to tell the world about your product or services. Your 3 to 5 year financial projection summarizes your financial projection. How much money do you expect to make from your services in the next 3 to 5 years? And then an exit plan describes your strategy in case you decide to call it quits. It's especially important if you're going into a partnership of any kind. In addition to developing a business plan, you need to determine your net worth and your ability to borrow money. This is where a personal financial statement comes into play. A personal financial statement contains 3 basic elements: assets, liabilities, and net worth. Assets comprise all the property a person owns. Assets include physical property such as a house, car, antiques, jewelry, gold or silver, collection of valued goods like stamps or coins or any item with a cash value. If you're like me, Jake and I received 2 full-blown like antique silverware sets, like the ones that come in a box with a little latch on it. That contributes to our current assets. The best assets are cash valued items such as certificates of deposit, IRAs, life insurance policies, savings bonds, stock bonds, cash in a money market, and checking and savings accounts. Together, these are your total assets. Then we have some liabilities, probably. We're human, therefore we have liabilities. So liabilities consist of all the money that you owe. Any outstanding loan balances on assets, such as mortgage on a house or a car loan, bills from credit cards, charge accounts, or student loans are liabilities. Together, these are your total liabilities. So for you to do a net worth calculation, your net worth calculation is going to be done by taking your assets, subtract your liabilities, and what you have left over is your net worth. So calculate the third and final figure, your net worth, by subtracting liabilities from your assets. In today's marketplace, most banks loan only 10% of personal net worth. With a net worth of $20,000, for example, you could borrow approximately $2,000. The average cost of starting a 5 esthetician skincare center ranges from $7,500 to $45,000, depending on location, improvements, and equipment needed. It is possible to borrow money with a low personal net worth. You are then categorized as a high risk, and you may have to pay interest rates 5 to 8% higher than the usual rate. You may also be required to provide a cosigner. Don't feel bad about that. When we took out our business loan, my dad co-signed for it. As you can see, a future skincare center owner should think about accumulating cash or physical assets and paying off all liabilities from the day of graduation. It's best to have personal finances in order before going into business. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Getting the help of a certified financial consultant starts you in the right direction. Some areas offer this service without charge. There's a saying, quote, "If you want to be successful at something, you have to risk losing it," end quote. This means you need the willingness to commit to something wholeheartedly and take calculated risks. This is what can make you a personal and professional success. To quote Theodore Roosevelt, "It is impossible to win the great prizes of life without running risks." Moving on to business essentials. Investigating the various types of business ownership that are available, combined with incorporating professional expert advice, serve as the business essentials that lead the way to making a sound business decision. Knowing the type of business that matches your professional goals, and most importantly, understanding the difference between business types, allows you to start focusing all other decisions around the one that you have chosen. Types of business ownership. Finding the work style that you desire and reaching your professional goals begins with knowing your ownership options. There are 4 types of ownership. A sole proprietorship is a business owned by one person who is in complete control of the business, receives all profits from the business, and is responsible for all debts and losses. A partnership is a business owned by 2 or more persons. Partners share all costs of opening, operating, and maintaining the business as agreed. Partnerships can be between persons with different management or practical skills. For example, one partner may be an excellent skincare specialist, while the other has management ability. This relationship builds on the strengths of each. A solid relationship between partners is essential for a partnership to work. A partnership agreement should be written by a lawyer. The agreement should specify the rights and obligations of each partner. This is especially important. When Sheila and I were trying to open our business together, we heard from a lot of people, like, don't go into business with your best friend. You won't be friends in a year from now. You won't be friends in 5 years. Have an exit plan. Blah, blah, blah. And, at first we were a little resistant, like, we know, like, we are going to be fine. But it's important to go through those steps anyway, because it is true. You never know where you're going to be. Now, for us, it's been a point of pride every time we go back, to our tax person. I'll go back to the people that have said that we've now been in business for 7 years, and we still have the same partnership agreement. We've really honed in, like, who can focus on what because of what our strengths and weaknesses are. And we complement each other very well. So it's worked out really great. But we didn't pass on having the legal things done just out of caution, right? So in the event that a partner decides to leave, and of course when you're first starting, you're going to be like, well, that's never going to happen, but life does happen, and sometimes you have to make choices, and that may result in needing to leave the business. So in the event that a partner decides to leave the partnership or sell his or her portion, there should be a written buyout agreement. Verbal agreements lead to misunderstandings. They lead to wrong expectations and broken hearts. So go into business with your best friend, but make sure that you're covering your asses. The third type of business ownership is a corporation. A corporation is a legal entity separate from its members, formed under legal guidelines. A corporation has a charter or articles of incorporation describing the purposes of the corporation and the structure of the company. I forgot to keep skipping slides, so sorry about that. There we go. A corporation is actually owned by its shareholders or members that have funds invested in the company. The shareholders elect representatives known as the board of directors. The board of directors then appoints officers, such as the president, vice president, and treasurer, to run the day-to-day business. Shareholders, also called stockholders, receive income based on the profits of the corporation. Corporations may be privately held by just a few stockholders or publicly held. If publicly held, the stock of the corporation is owned by many people and available for sale on one of the stock exchanges. As a general rule, stockholders are not liable for the corporation's debts or losses, since the corporation is operated as a separate legal entity. Laws concerning liability or damage to a persons or property as a result of corporation's activities may be different according to where the corporation is formed and the place where it conducts its business. A lawyer and an accountant should be employed to ensure that the corporation is properly established and conducts its business in accordance with local laws. Our fourth type of business, a franchise. A franchise is more of a license for operation than a form of ownership. A franchise is simply an operating agreement in which a fee is paid to a parent corporation in exchange for fixtures, promotion, advertising, education, management techniques, and most importantly, the name. The owner of a franchise agreement can be a sole proprietor, partnership, or corporation. Certain rules must be observed in operation of a franchise, and an initial purchase fee plus a monthly service charge is paid to the parent corporation. A franchise is an excellent way to share in the experience of industry experts. However, simple policies about hours, products used, benefits for employees, salaries, and even the color of the facility are decided by the parent corporation. So when considering which type fits your lifestyle, don't be overwhelmed by the business jargon. Luckily, there are experts who make it their business to help you choose the type of business ownership that's right for you. When in doubt, ask questions. There is no such thing as a dumb question, only those that are not asked. So that brings us to expert advice. Prior to moving too far ahead in making the initial purchases for the business, you will want to seek the advice of experts. Seeking the wisdom of various professionals in other areas of expertise is one decision you can't afford to miss. To find an expert, you can consult with business colleagues, contact professional associations for referrals, and make use of your local library, internet, and Yellow Pages. Any serious future skincare center owner will need the advice of 4 key experts. First expert, an accountant. An accountant is a financial advisor. You can explain in greater depth the types of business ownership and their tax benefits and liabilities. This person can also tell you what amount a bank is likely to lend you based on your net worth. An accountant sets up a basic bookkeeping system, including periodic income statements to evaluate profit or loss, and reviews rental agreements. Accountants are generally paid on a monthly or quarterly basis to record and prepare tax payments to various government agencies and to represent the business if it is audited. Your insurance agent. An insurance agent provides advice on the types of insurance needed to safely open and operate a business. Insurance is a form of risk management. When you buy an insurance policy, you're paying a fee to a company to assume your risk of loss. This means, for example, car insurance is a set dollar amount each month. I skipped a few lines. Wait. When you buy an insurance policy, you're paying... Nope, I read it the right line. I just read it incorrectly. Let me rephrase. This means, for example, car insurance is a set dollar amount each month. That's true. The monthly payment assures that the insurance company will pay the cost for repair or replacement of the vehicle if there is an accident. A practical guideline is, if you can easily afford to totally replace an item, don't insure it. This is true unless you could, in some way, be held responsible for your personal injury if the item malfunctioned or if the property for which you were responsible caused an accident. In the U.S., there are state and federal requirements that certain insurance, such as workers' compensation, be carried to protect the consumer and the employee. Since businesses are required to carry this type of insurance, there are reputable agents and companies that offer the whole range of insurance policy needed for the skincare center. An agent is paid on a commission basis according to the policies of the company or companies represented. A lawyer. A lawyer is an advisor on the legal obligations of business ownership, borrowing money, signing rental lease agreements, and assuming tax responsibilities. He or she is usually necessary when documents are being signed and for writing partnership or corporation agreements. Lawyers are normally paid on an hourly basis for all phone calls, in-person consultations, or preparation of documents. Always ask the rate before consulting with a lawyer. Definitely find yourself a lawyer. And then our supplier or our distributor sales consultant. It's important to develop strong relationships with distributors and distributor sales consultants. A distributor is a middleman who maintains contracts to sell professional products or equipment, acting as a link between the manufacturer and the skincare center. Your distributor is your middleman. A distributor sales consultant travels within a territory to sell products and equipment to the skincare centers, and generally is the link between the distributor and the skincare center. Some distributors are able to offer other services, such as providing financing, helping design the skincare center, assisting in finding a good location, locating prospective employees, and providing in-center education and large-scale educational seminars or workshops. Distributors may also be able to provide you with an efficient, cost-saving inventory control system that ensures a maximum return on every dollar invested in retail and professional use products. The distributors and distributor sales consultants' income is directly related to your income from selling products or purchasing equipment. So they have an investment in helping you succeed. If you believe you will need a few or none of the above mentioned services, there are also discount and cash and carry supply houses throughout the country that provide products or equipment. Similarly, some manufacturers sell directly to skincare center owners. When making plans for a successful skincare center, now that you know what you can afford, chosen the type of business you want to have, and have obtained the advice of experts, you can begin making the choices that will set your skincare center apart from the rest. The first step in the planning process is identifying 3 important factors to help ensure that you make choices that lead down the road to success. Location. Ever heard the expression, location, location, location? This saying is a humorous reference to how important location is for visibility and success. The most important factor in opening a skincare business is location. What are the available locations in your area? You need to assess parking conditions, high traffic activity, and rental fees per square foot. Think about market need. Determining how many other skincare centers and estheticians are in the area is the first step in gauging the market need. Find out what services are offered, what prices they charge, and what types of potential clientele exist in the area. A 10-year forecast of the economic future of the community can usually be obtained from the local Chamber of Commerce or Economic Development Agency. The third consideration is the cost of necessary improvements. Improvement costs are the amount of money that must be spent to meet a skincare center's unique needs, but does not include separate expenses for the skincare equipment. Improvements could include plumbing to accommodate the sinks for facial and body treatments, electrical and lighting requirements to provide adequate electrical outlets for balanced lighting and makeup areas, and upgrades to electrical wiring, heating, air conditioning, and so forth. Landlords sometimes share in this expense. Space requirements. When planning a skincare center, two primary goals should be kept in mind. First, the center should be designed for smooth and efficient functioning. Second, the overall visual appearance or emotional impact should be pleasant. Taking care of both aspects enables you to earn maximum profit for every square foot of the skincare center. Carefully planning the space also creates a place where estheticians enjoy working and your clients continue visiting. In general, an efficient working space allows for 120 to 150 square feet per esthetician. Square footage is calculated by multiplying the length of the area by its width. For example, a 20 foot by 30 foot space is a total of 600 square feet. For example, a distributor sales consultant can help you design a simple skincare center layout based on 3 to 4 estheticians working in a 600 square foot space. In this instance, the center is licensed to employ a maximum number of specialists working at one time. Some regulating agencies have specific minimum space requirements for each skincare specialist. The ideal skincare center arrangement has an efficient traffic pattern. The best design provides the fewest steps for the client and the esthetician to travel. All skincare centers also require an attractive and comfortable reception area with seating and a desk for receiving clients, service areas for facial treatments and makeup, a dispensary, a well-designed and clean restroom that contains a sink and a toilet, sufficient lighting and plumbing for providing excellent services, and heating and air conditioning. In addition, many skincare centers have a retail display and promotion area, a lounge, and a laundry and utility room. Consider floor plans. Before trying to determine any details on a cost of equipment or interior decorating, hire a developer or architect to help you create a floor plan for a proposed location. If a potential location cannot be arranged to fit your floor plan without going over budget, look at other locations. Most skincare centers can be installed with an investment of between $2,500 and $7,500 per skincare specialist, depending on the space requirements and equipment needed. Consider whether the cost of installation for the center you want fits your needs. Sometimes the location is priced right, with good traffic and the type of clientele desired, but the cost of installation is too high. Examine many alternatives, and then work out the design details. Make it a place where you'll enjoy working, and one that will be a wise investment. Equipment. Any new skincare center is going to require a considerable amount of equipment. The types and quality of equipment are determined by the types of services you want to offer. However, there are still basics that virtually every skincare center needs. The basics include treatment beds, facial and other treatment machines, waxing units, esthetician stools and storage cabinets or trolleys, smaller tools such as mirrors, brushes, tweezers, and cosmetic tools. When planning your skincare center, make sure to allocate enough space and a location for all of the equipment you need. Another thing to consider is how to pay for the equipment. If you need to borrow money to design and construct your skincare center, you may wish to purchase the equipment outright. However, Just as you can lease a car, you can also lease equipment. Check with suppliers from whom you are considering purchasing the equipment. They will often be able to arrange a lease option for you. Otherwise, there are separate companies that arrange leasing for all types of equipment, including computers and furniture. Leasing equipment rather than purchasing it can have an impact on the amount of taxes you pay on your profits. So consult with your accountant, who will advise the best option for your business. Be aware that in most leasing agreements, there is not only a monthly payment, but also a buyout fee at the end of the leasing term, at which point you will choose whether or not you want to purchase and own the equipment. Further, you will pay considerably more for your equipment by leasing it rather than purchasing it outright. But again, consult with your consult with your accountant, because you may still be able to profit by this arrangement over the long term because of the taxes you will avoid paying. So let's talk borrowing money. After you have found a location, designed a suitable and affordable floor plan, calculated the cost of fixtures and capital improvements necessary, you must determine how much money you need to borrow. Generally, you must be willing to invest some of your own money in order for any lending institution to grant a loan. Do not sign a rental agreement until you have received your loan approval. Since you will be granted future loans based on your track record, it is important to make all of your loan payments on time. You will need many types of documents to prove to any lending institution that you are worthy credit risk. One such document will probably be a profit and loss projection or an income and expense projection. Work with your accountant to prepare the projection. Not only does it help you get a loan, but it also helps you determine how much cash you really need. Your accountant should advise you of the operating capital needed to open the skincare center and to pay the expenses of your business for at least 6 months. Operating capital is the reservoir of cash that you will need to stay ahead of your creditors. You will have to pay your rent on a timely basis, pay your staff, product distributors, and so on. Not having a reservoir of cash may lead to problems such as refusal of distributors to ship you any new product, the loss of staff who cannot survive without their regular paychecks, or even eviction from your business by the landlord. So operating capital is your reservoir of cash that you will need to stay ahead of your creditors. Accountants typically advise you of having operating capital needed to open the skincare center and pay expenses of your business for at least 6 months. This unfortunate scenario can be avoided. When applying for a loan to start your business, make sure you have enough money to operate for at least 6 months, or better yet, a full year. Once your skincare center is open and you have an operating track record, which means a good relationship with your bank, and you have paid down on your debt, you can apply for a line of credit with your bank. A line of credit from the bank provides a reserve of cash that you can draw upon to meet operating expenses, even if you have a slow month or two. It is advisable to pay money you borrow from a line of credit back as quickly as possible. Timely payback will keep you in good standing with the bank and might result in an offer to raise your credit limit over time. Even more important, a line of credit will preserve the reservoir of funds so that you can dip into them in the case of another emergency. Rental agreements. Upon obtaining a loan, you can enter into a rental agreement, also called a lease. As the renter or leasee, this means you promise to pay rent and use the property according to the agreement. Normally, a lease should extend for 5 years with an option for 5 more years in order to avoid unexpected rent increases. Generally, it would be unprofitable to install a skincare center for less than 5 years due to the time needed for a new business to grow and flourish. During the rental negotiation process, you should make sure that certain basic services will be provided by the landlord. These services include maintenance to the building as well as any repairs to the facilities, adequate water capacity and pressure, late night and or weekend access to the building. You should also negotiate for all or part of the capital improvements to be paid by the owner of the building or the leaser. The types of capital improvements you can expect a landlord to pay include such permanent changes as walls, flooring, new window frames, air conditioning, plumbing improvements, or new bathrooms. Such requests are reasonable because these improvements will stay within the building when you move out. However, it is also common for skincare centers to need extra water pipes, larger water heaters, more electrical outlets, washer and dryer facilities, and installation of special lighting, features unique to your business. These special features will probably have to be paid for by you. However, during the lease negotiation process, you, your lawyer, and the landlord should sort out what improvements will be made by whom. A large portion of the expense of the skincare center is rent. There are two types of rent: fixed and variable. Fixed rent is a set dollar amount paid each month to the lesser. A fixed rent allows you to predict your monthly expenses carefully. It always is the same, so it helps you plan. Variable rent is a set dollar amount paid per month plus a percentage of the total monthly income. Variable rents are common in malls and large shopping centers. Have an accountant predict the results of a variable rent system before signing a lease. Also, be sure you have a lawyer evaluate a tentative lease and make suggestions for change. You can negotiate changes in any lease. Remember, you don't sign a lease unless you, your lawyer, and your accountant are satisfied that it is fair and reasonable. Next up, insurance. There are several types of insurance to protect you from the financial difficulties that can follow the unexpected loss of property, income, health, and life. This is what's known as risk management. The following are types of insurance recommended to eliminate some of the risks of being in business. First up, malpractice. This is a policy that protects the skincare center owner from financial loss that can result from an employer's negligence while performing skincare services on clients. The owner must ensure that each esthetician in the center The owner must insure each individual esthetician in the center. This insurance covers the cost of a lawsuit or settlement resulting from damage inflicted on a client during any service. Then we have property or premise. This is a policy that covers the actual skincare center equipment and physical location in case of natural disasters, fire, theft, or accidents occurring at the business. It covers replacement of lost items and carries a liability clause that will pay a claim if someone is injured on the premises. Thirdly, we have product liability. This is a recent addition to available insurance coverage. With a huge number of retail products sold for home use, a need for protection has developed. Although a skincare center specialist thoroughly explains how to use a home skincare product, clients still may misuse the product and damage their skin. The skincare center, distributor, and manufacturer can be sued for recommending, selling, and producing the product. Not only could the suit harm a business financially, but it could also ruin the skincare center's professional reputation. Insurance companies sometimes require an educational program and product knowledge for all the staff before product liability insurance is granted. Workers' compensation is a state-controlled insurance required by law. This insurance is paid directly to the state on a quarterly basis to cover any expense resulting from an injury to an employee. If the employee is injured while working in the skincare center, all medical expenses are paid by the state, and the state provides the employee with a guaranteed income until the employee is able to return to work. Remember, it's better to prepare than to repair. So while some insurances are required, the State Board for Estheticians does not require malpractice insurance for estheticians, but it's definitely 100% something that you will want and need to do. Okay, so that concludes the first part of the chapter, and we will move on to the next. I will need to find the next slide, so bear with me uno momento. Well, I should have had this prepared. That's all right. Here we go. Operating a business. Page 81 in your Salon Fundamentals textbook. Now that you're familiar with the steps required to open a skincare center, it is time to consider the many important aspects of day-to-day operation. These include learning about everything from cost of operation and pricing of services and products to all matters pertaining to employees. Following this lesson, you'll be able to list the skills required for any employer, paying taxes, managing inventory, setting prices, business administration, hiring and other employee issues, advertising, public relations, and promotional calendar. You'll be able to define advertising and promotion techniques that will increase sales. Expenses and income. In very basic terms, the financial success or profitability of a skincare center is achieved when the income is significantly greater than its total expenses. In even simpler terms, a business makes a profit when it takes in more money than it pays out. Income refers to all payments received from clients for services performed and home care products purchased. Income is also frequently referred to by accountants as revenue. Operating expenses refers to all the costs incurred in the day-to-day running of the skincare center. There are two types of operating expenses, fixed and variable. Fixed costs do not change from month to month for at least 1 year and would include the rent or mortgage payment, salaries, and insurance. Variable costs can change on a monthly basis and would include things like utilities, supplies, cost of promotions, postage, and taxes. If the skincare center's income is greater than the operating expenses, the skincare center is operating at a profit. If the operating expenses are greater than the income, the skincare center is operating at a loss. The business may operate at a loss as clientele builds during the first few weeks, months, and even years. An accountant should take the fact into consideration when the initial financing is arranged. In order to plan your business and create budgets, it is helpful to do what is known as an income and expense projection. A projection is basically an estimate of what you think you will earn in revenues and what you think you will pay out in expenses. Some lending institutions require an income and expense projection before they loan you money. It takes many months of operation before you are able to accurately gauge the typical percentage of expenses as compared to income that is unique to your business. However, in order to create such a projection for your budgets, you can use average costs, which are typical across many different types of businesses. So at first, you're just taking a big old guess at it. Doing an income and expense projection annually or even twice a year, and then comparing it to the actual income and expenses, helps you make educated business decisions. The fact is that all of the above expenses can be controlled. If your operating statement shows a particular expense was higher than your projection, you can take steps to reduce costs. Expenses mentioned above may be higher or lower for your skincare center depending on climate, size of community, and region. Of course, increasing your profits in ways that have minimal effect on increasing your expenses yields a higher net profit. Retail displays, for example, use existing space and require a one-time expense for the display unit. The only ongoing expenses are the cost of keeping the display well stocked and perhaps retail commissions paid to your estheticians and receptionists on their retail product sales. Staff compensation is the largest ongoing skincare center expense. The better you control all of your expenses, the faster you pay off your debt and see higher profits from the business. A business owner is responsible for paying a wide array of taxes to local and federal governments. It is the owner's responsibility to pay promptly. A bookkeeper can keep track of regular tax payments, but for a full understanding of your tax obligations, seek the advice and expertise of a certified public accountant. Careful record keeping is required by law. Keep all records of daily sales and services for 5 to 7 years to serve as proof of income if audited by the IRS. Failure to keep records is against the law in most areas. Withholding tax. The owner is responsible for withholding or keeping a percentage of funds from an employee's income for payment of certain taxes and for paying these withholdings to the government. In the U.S., these include federal, state, and local income taxes and Social Security tax. The skincare center owner also has a tax obligation to the employee. For every dollar of Social Security tax paid by the employee, the owner must pay the same amount to the federal government. Social Security is a planned savings/retirement fund for every worker in the United States. Medicare is part of your Social Security tax and provides medical insurance coverage during retirement. In Canada, the skincare center owner is responsible for withholding federal and provincial tax, employment insurance, and Canadian pension tax. The skincare center owner must also provide an annual W-2 form for each employee. The W-2 form indicates all the taxes paid for the past year. Employees need to verify that the owner is submitting taxes under the correct Social Security number so that the appropriate credit is given. Sales tax. Most states and some local governments impose sales tax on products. If there is tax, If there is a tax, business owners are responsible for collecting sales tax on products and paying these monies to the state on a monthly or quarterly basis. Some states may charge taxes on services, so check with your area's government agency. In Missouri, we do not. A permit is required to collect taxes, and the payments are a permanent record of the dollar volume of the business. A skincare center owner must apply for a state sales tax permit before collecting tax on products or services sold. This number serves as your resale number. That means that if you are purchasing things for your skincare center, such as products or any type of supply that will be resold to a client, you are not required to pay sales tax to the seller. The sales tax comes from when the client pays. You will need to fill out a resale certificate and provide your tax ID number to the seller, and then you will not be charged sales tax. This practice prevents clients from essentially having to pay sales tax twice. Check with an accountant regarding your area's sales tax requirements. Income tax. Income tax is paid on the profits of a business. In the U.S., the Internal Revenue Service establishes criteria for reporting profit and loss. Again, be sure to consult with an accountant or IRS on IRS tax compliance. If a business makes a profit, it is required to pay a percentage of that profit to the federal, state, and local governments. If a business suffers a loss, it receives a tax credit, which means it pays little or no tax. You can see the importance of careful planning and control of your expenses. Careful record keeping is required by law. For your own protection, keep all records of daily sales and services for 5 to 7 years. If a business is audited by the IRS, these records are proof of income. Failure to keep records is against the law in most areas. Next section, hiring. Let's change the topic. Move on from taxes. Golly. Okay. Hiring. In building a successful skincare business, it is important to hire new employees that meet several important criteria. Prior to interviewing potential candidates, make a list of the criteria most important to you. Remember, the ability to work productively with a group is critical in the skincare industry. In addition, when considering potential candidates, look for the following: experience, technical skills, telephone skills, personal appearance, professionalism, people skills, and enthusiasm. To make it easier, write a job description for the unique position you wish to fill. The written description will serve not only as an outline of the tasks and responsibilities needed in a new employee, but also as a checklist for future job performance reviews and promotions. Establish an outline for all candidate interviews. Perhaps you could have a formal list of questions to ask, or devote several minutes of the interview to watching a demonstration of the candidate's skills. If the candidate is going to have telephone duties, you might want to ask him or her to role play an incoming call with you. Keep the format for all interviews similar, which makes sure everything important gets covered and accurately measures one candidate against another. Considering conducting 2 or 3 interviews with each candidate before determining if he or she is a good fit for employment in your skincare center. As with many other aspects of running a business, there are compliance issues with regard to maintaining a staff of employees. For example, in the U.S., all employees must fill out a W-4 tax withholding form. I said we were going to move on from taxes, but we're not. U.S. federal law also states that you must determine if the employee is a legal citizen prior to final hiring by requesting proof in the form of a valid Social Security card, driver's license, state ID, or birth certificate, and completing what is called an I-9 form. A copy of the completed I-9 form, along with a photocopy of the supporting proof documents, should be placed in the employee's file. In Canada, a social insurance number is required as proof of ability to work. In the U.S., you can obtain a work permit or visa to work legally in the country for a limited number of months. An accountant can guide you on most employee compliance regulations. On the first day on the job, introduce the new employees to the entire staff and make them feel like part of the team. At this time, give new employees a policies and procedures handbook, which is described later in this chapter. We're going to talk about a few different types of compensation available. There are 3 common ways an employee can be paid. A commission structure is based on a percentage of the dollar income the individual esthetician generates by serving clients. For example, if an experienced esthetician does 5 facials at $50 per facial in one day, she also performs 3 brow waxes at $10 each and then sells $200 in products. The total, or gross income, is $480. A commission of 50% is paid to the esthetician on services. At 50% to the esthetician receives $240. She also receives 10% commission on products, totaling at $20. So the esthetician receives $260 for the day, not counting tips. A salary structure is a compensation system that guarantees a set income on a weekly or monthly basis. The advantage of salaries is the educational costs and employee benefits, such as health insurance, pension plans, and paid vacations, can be budgeted if the payroll is based on fixed salaries. A salary plus commission structure guarantees the employee a certain amount of money on a regular basis and provides an additional income when the esthetician meets a predetermined benchmark or goal. This commission is usually established on a predetermined dollar amount based on productivity level. This system gives the esthetician a steady paycheck while rewarding him or her for building clientele. Skincare center, philosophy, policies, and procedures. A skincare center should have a professional philosophy or standard of ethics. Creating a policies and procedures handbook is the first step in developing these standards. The handbook provides a set of guidelines for the owner and staff to work by and can be revised as needed. Such a handbook should thoroughly outline the owner's expectations of employees. Information contained in the Skincare Center Handbook might include job descriptions, educational and professional requirements, dress code, client relations policies and employee conduct guidelines, location of material safety data sheets, guidelines on dealing with client or staff disabilities, emergency procedures, hours, prices, service standards, record-keeping policies, benefits, infection control standards, care of equipment, absence policy, complaint policy, and causes for termination of employment. A skincare center handbook should also inform the employee about what to expect from management. The employer is expected to provide a safe and pleasant working environment, reasonable working hours, equitable salary structure, products and supplies, and sanitation services. The employer should also provide a format such as weekly or bi-weekly meetings in which employees can offer suggestions and opinions and expect unbiased consideration to be given to any topic. These provisions can be covered in the handbook as well. Record keeping. In addition to keeping accurate records for tax purposes, you must also keep detailed financial records to ensure the general well-being of your business. Remember, records are only of value if they are kept accurately and updated consistently. Depending on the size of your skincare center, you may wish to hire a full or part-time bookkeeper or accountant to help you keep track of all income and expenses. A bookkeeper is also responsible for paying bills, making sure all periodic tax payments are made, overseeing payroll, keeping payroll records, reconciling the checking account, and conducting tasks to maintain the financial health of the business. Whether you do the books or a bookkeeper does, it is important to have a year-end analysis, reports, and forecasts done by an accountant. Not only are these financial records essential for understanding the health of the business, they are also necessary for determining the value of the business. It is important in the event that you ever want to sell or need to request a loan from a bank. Reports required by federal, state, and city agencies need financial records that pertain to such issues as workers' compensation, unemployment and disability insurance, income taxes, and Social Security payments. Appointment and sales records are extremely important to maintain daily and analyze regularly, either weekly or monthly. By doing so, you will be able to notice when inventory supplies are running low so that you can reorder, observe what types of services are being requested or not requested in order to make adjustments to your service menu, be aware of the kinds of materials that are being used for different types of treatments, and help you control waste. Other kinds of records aid in business as well. Customer service records that note treatments provided and merchandise purchased by each client help keep track of what each client needs and prefers. It also improves the personal service the client receives and increases sales. The customer service record is an invaluable aid in determining the popularity of various treatments and products. Inventory and product control. A profitable part of any business is the sale of products recommended by the estheticians working in the skincare center. Products for use during client services are also required. Both examples require a lot of behind-the-scenes organization, starting with simply managing the product inventory. All products are purchased by the skincare center owner for use during client services or for retailing are referred to as inventory, or stock in quantity. Inventory is generally identified by two categories, professional and retail. In order for the skincare center to operate at a profitable margin, it is important that a strong inventory system be in place that will allow close management of these invaluable products. Proper inventory practices also require the timely ordering of products. Always have a product available to perform a service or meet a client's purchasing needs reflects excellently on a business. The term inventory control applies to the procedures used in the skincare center to ensure that products are accounted for from the time they are added to the inventory until they are sold or used. Owners or managers usually establish inventory control guidelines to monitor the sales of a specific product within an assigned time frame. Determining whether specific products should be continued as retail items is based on the number of turnovers or turns, which means calculating the amount of time it takes to sell the product once it's on the shelf. One way to do this I was talking about in class is creating a code that you can put on the bottom of your products that doesn't look like a date to your clients, but lets you know what date that product went on the shelf. So it's easy for you to pick up something and see how long it's been sitting there. It is not to an owner's business advantage to invest money in products that don't turn over in a timely fashion. A skincare center owner should expect the estheticians to recommend products for home care to their clients. Setting sales goals is essential to providing retail income to both the owner and the esthetician. An industry recommended goal indicates that for each dollar in services an esthetician performs on a client, that client should purchase $1 in home care products. A client who visits a skincare center for a facial every 6 weeks at the average cost of $60 could easily spend another $60 on retail products for use at home. That same client, through careful product recommendations, may eventually spend more on retail products than on any service. Many skincare centers pay a commission ranging from 8 to 15% of the esthetician's total retail sales. Some owners pay lower commissions for fewer dollar volume sales. A sliding scale creates the incentive to sell more. A skincare center owner is responsible for keeping an inventory of products for the esthetician to sell. So for every dollar of service, sell $1 of home care product. On average, the commission range for retail is anywhere from 8 to 15%. Pricing. Service prices should be determined by conducting a market survey before opening the skincare center. Price the services at a reasonable rate to fit the income range of the clients you want to attract. Create a profile of the clientele you hope will visit your skincare center and target them with your advertising. Determining what other skincare centers are charging can be helpful, but remember, price is not the only reason clients select a particular skincare center. The community image of the center, the quality of the work performed, and the personalities of the employees. The ambiance and the location are also major incentives for a client to return to your skincare center. Price products to recapture the cost of what you paid the manufacturer or distributor while building in a profit margin. Profit margins can range anywhere from 50 to 100% and beyond. As a guideline, rely on the manufacturer's suggested retail price. This way, you are assured of being competitive with other skincare centers selling the same product. But as with services, clients will sometimes pay a little bit extra if they perceive the value to be greater. For example, they may enjoy the ambiance of your skincare center more, or you may provide a special shopping bag or gift wrapping service that increase the perceived value of the product. The challenge is charging enough money without overcharging and losing business. Receptionist duties. In many cases, the receptionist is the first person to greet the clients as they arrive. If the skincare center does not have a full-time receptionist, the owner usually appoints an esthetician to serve in this capacity as needed, or the estheticians rotate throughout the day, meeting the needs of this area. In some cases, the receptionist also acts as the cashier. The primary duties of this very important position are to greet each person with a smile, promote goodwill and client satisfaction, schedule appointments in a fair and efficient way, manage incoming and outgoing calls regarding appointments, work with the esthetician to ensure the appropriate amount of time is allowed for each individual service being scheduled, inform estheticians of client arrival, supervise the reception area to ensure organization and efficiency, promote retail products and additional services to clients, handle client complaints calmly and efficiently, ensure client services are all paid and documented, ensure messages are handled in order of priority and with efficiency, and being prepared to field any questions regarding the service should the client have any, and or if the esthetician is not available. A poorly trained receptionist can ruin a skincare center's operations. Clients often judge a skincare center by how the phone calls are handled and how they are treated within the first few minutes of their arrival. A cheerful and competent receptionist can make everyone's day go more smoothly. Telephone techniques. The way estheticians or the receptionist speak on the phone often creates the first impression a client will have of the skincare center. The telephone is a tool used to communicate, provide information, make appointments, answer questions, receive messages, handle complaints, and remind clients of future appointments. Because the telephone plays such an important role in the skincare center's business, it is imperative that answering procedures be carefully planned and that anyone answering the phone will be courteous and well trained. Telephone answering tips. Answer the phone within 2 rings. Greet the client by saying the skincare center name, your name, and how may I help you. Listen carefully for the client's name. I like to immediately have like a pen and paper, and I'll write down the client's name as they say it so that I can use it throughout the conversation. So listen for the client's name. Service desired or other information requested. Ask client to repeat what was said if you didn't understand. Schedule appointment and repeat back to the client the esthetician that was requested, if any, time and date of the appointment, the exact service to be performed, and thank you for calling. That's also a good opportunity to recommend any upsells or add-ons to a service. If you cannot help the client personally, ask the client, would you please hold? And then please, for the love of God, don't just cover the mouthpiece with your hand and then yell at someone else in the room. Make sure that they go on mute or on actual hold. Wait for them to say yes or no before you place them on hold. Then place the line on hold and get help. Return to the client within 1 minute if possible. When taking a message, make sure to include the date and the time you are receiving the message. Make sure I'm on the right slide here. The date and time you're receiving the message, for whom the message is intended, the name of the caller, the phone number of the caller, the exact message, and repeat the entire message back to the caller. Then give the message to the person for whom it is intended. Unhappy clients often don't complain, they just don't return. Asking clients about their services or skincare center experience and responding to their concerns will help you maintain your clientele. Scheduling appointments can be done more effectively if the person answering the phone is aware of each esthetician's skills, speed, prices, and availability. Here are some additional phone tips. Speak in a tone that communicates a helpful, interested attitude. Avoid sounding harsh, shrill, or irritated. Speak clearly, calmly, and with enthusiasm. Be courteous. Speak at a moderate pace and never interrupt the caller. Do not talk to others in the skincare center while you're on the phone. Use good grammar. Ask clients if they need directions to the center to confirm they know your address. That's important, especially for first-timers. Handle complaints with patience and tact, and by doing everything possible within the skincare center's policies to make sure the client is satisfied. Take a complaint very seriously. Just one unhappy client can directly affect a skincare center's reputation, the esthetician's reputation, and future income. Always maintain self-control. When informing clients of pricing, let them know a starting price or give them a price range. This is important because clients expect to pay a quoted price unless they know the exact price cannot be determined without a preliminary esthetician-client consultation. Don't guarantee that a skincare service can be performed. Each client needs to come in for a skin analysis first to determine if a service can be performed. If a skincare center doesn't have a full-time receptionist, take turns answering the phone. Be fair when booking new clients who don't request a particular esthetician. Distribute these types of bookings fairly among the available estheticians. Schedule others, and they will schedule you when they are answering the phone. Remember, telephone techniques are tremendously important. Skillful handling can work wonders. Using excellent receptionist techniques can generate business. For example, a price inquiry phone call can become a new client for the skincare center. Ideal telephone communication can also increase business by being able to soothe the mixed feelings of a customer who might otherwise leave your clientele. Here's a tip. Smile when you answer the phone. Even though the caller can't see it, it shows in the tone of your voice. Scheduling appointments. The process of scheduling appointments is of primary importance within the operation of the skincare center. Generally, appointments are scheduled according to the type of service and the speed of the esthetician. Important information to be noted in an appointment booking includes the client's name, the scheduled service, the appointment time, client phone number, and if you're like us, you may also choose to require a debit or credit card number to schedule an appointment. Frequently, additional information is added to the appointment book by using codes that represent various types of clients. Codes used for identifying client types may be placed next to the name and might include W for walk-in, R for clients who request a specific esthetician. In effort to serve the needs of the client, the skincare center could notify this client if the requested esthetician is absent on the day of the scheduled appointment. O for open clients, which means they have no preference in regard to the assigned esthetician, or N for new clients, and REF for referral, clients who have been referred to the center. Many businesses record the source of referral for marketing purposes. So in my experience, what you'll see often is a new client, but like our booking system, it doesn't just say new client. You either have new request, meaning they're new, but they requested Haley, or new NNR for new non-request, meaning they're new and they don't care who they see. Then we have repeat, and so it's going to be, again, repeat request. So they've been here before and they want to see Haley again. Or repeat non-request. They've been here before and they don't care who they see. That helps us with our performance reviews because we can see like how many new clients our people are able to turn into repeat clients. So we have new request, new non-request, repeat request, and repeat non-request. And that, like I said, helps us with our performance reviews. So handling money. Cash operations are important to every business, and the skincare center is no exception. The receptionist or assigned cashier needs to ensure accuracy and efficiency and be able to provide the correct denomination of bills and coins for cash transactions and troubleshoot during credit transactions. When giving change, it is important that the cashier count back from the smaller denomination, usually coins, and move to the larger, usually bills. If you've worked in retail, you've probably been trained on this. For example, if the client's bills for services and products totals $62.97 and the client offers you $65, you count back, starting with the coins, $98, $99, and then moving to dollars, $63, $64, $65. This count indicates that you had offered the client change of 3 cents to total to $63, and then 2 single dollar bills to get you to $65. The most efficient method of offering change is to always give the client the fewest bills necessary to complete the transaction. Therefore, it is necessary that an adequate inventory of various bill and coin denominations be on hand. A client might agree to receive 25 pennies because you are out of other coins, but in reality, it is not good business. It takes more time and is not as efficient. Advertising. Advertising incorporates all activities that attract attention to your skincare center and create a positive impression. Advertising projects an image and tells the public about your skincare center, the services offered, the quality of service, and the reasons clients should patronize your center. Your advertising image should be consistent and fresh. The best form of advertising is often word of mouth. Satisfied clients nearly always tell others about your skincare center. And word of mouth these days is social media. More conventional forms of advertising, such as the printed media, like newspapers or magazines, can be very effective. The most selective and efficient form of advertising for local businesses is direct mail. Now, you might challenge this information should you be opening your own business. However, this is the information in your text that you need to know for your exams. Direct mail. This method of advertising involves sending postcards or flyers to prospective clients, encouraging them to try a new service. Daily or weekly newspaper ads can create an image in the consumer's minds through the repetition of your name and logo. Magazines or periodicals that reach the types of clientele you are trying to attract can also be effective, as can other types of mass media, such as billboards or bus stops. Television and radio ads can reach hundreds of thousands of viewers and listeners, depending on budget and how far the company can afford to broadcast. Businesses are charged according to the network's approximation of the size of the audience during the time slot in which they choose to advertise. Late night ads can be very affordable, while ads placed during prime time can be too expensive. However, with the advent of independent cable channels and alternative programming, this form of advertising may prove beneficial. Remember new media options too. Advertising on the internet can be extremely affordable, highly effective, and relatively easy to do on a limited budget. Simple banner ads can be purchased on smaller websites. Consider sites that list city events, restaurants, and so on. Also, it is now quite easy to create your own homepage, or with time and money, you can hire someone to do an entire website that features your product and service menus. With your own website, you can easily establish links to other sites or do a simple postcard mailing that will encourage people to visit your website. You may consider offering special promotions to people who actually do visit your website. Plan a yearly advertising budget and stick to it. Alternate expensive forms of advertising with inexpensive forms methods. If one form of advertising works, repeat it. If something fails, drop it. Consider surveying clients once a year for their opinions about services, community image, and advertising programs. While you will be able to achieve some kinds of limited advertising on your own with mailings or email messages, other larger endeavors such as television spots will probably require the services of an advertising or marketing agency. These agencies can help you define your target market more sharply and tailor a message that is unique to you and appealing to your market. They can also help you purchase media placement more cost effectively. Public relations. Huge. Spreading the word about your business doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, it can even be free. Public relations, or PR, is an essential component of any advertising plan. The term defines itself relating to the public. Public relations involves the shaping of your public image in ways other than advertising. PR can be simple or complex depending on a company's needs and its budget. Involvement in community affairs, the Chamber of Commerce, or service organizations can help promote the business's professional image in the area. Be known as a worker. People will try your professional services if they like you and trust you as a person. Slightly more complex and expensive public relations efforts, including holding skincare seminars or fundraising events for charity, can also promote your professional pursuits. Another typical public relations strategy is to try to get your skincare center's name featured in the media, either in local papers, magazines, television news, or entertainment programs. Public relation agencies can help you with these efforts, or if you're willing to do the legwork, you can get some things done yourself. Getting such coverage requires coming up with a story idea, writing it down, and sending it along with photographs or other support materials to a host of media contacts. The following plan of action will help you understand the steps necessary to initiate such an endeavor. Generate a list of media contacts. Look at all the local media. Make phone calls to find out exact names, titles, and addresses of contacts. Make sure the contact is responsible for news stories. Come up with a story idea. Do you have a new service? Do you feature a unique product? Is your space newly refurbished? The key is to remember that media contacts get news story pitches every day. Yours must be interesting, unique, and newsworthy. Write down your story pitch clearly and concisely and print it on your company letterhead. Create a promotion package. The package should consist of a folder, perhaps decorated with a unique sticker featuring your company logo, your story idea, photocopies of any other news coverage you have received, your company's brochure, service menu, and other printed support material. Photography if available. It is also advisable to include a gift of a product or a service. Mail packages to the media contacts on your list, and then follow up. This is essential if you hope to receive coverage. Your media contacts will be extremely busy, approached by hundreds of people wanting the same thing you want. Establishing a personal relationship will make it harder for them to say no to your request. Even if they turn down your request, your relationship will be remembered, and the next time you pitch a story idea to them. Next tip, a promotional calendar. The best way to ensure an effective advertising and promotion campaign is to create a promotional calendar for an entire year. In this way, you will establish deadlines for yourself and be able to plan promotions around special events or new product or service announcements you have planned for your skincare center. Also, a calendar helps you plan regular seasonal promotions, which can become a mainstay of your advertising. If you're using Facebook business pages, they have a business suite that has a calendar on it, so you can actually schedule posts for whenever you want throughout the year, and you select the date and the time and you load it all up, and then it's just on this calendar and it'll automatically get posted on the dates and times that you assigned for it. So that's a really, really useful tool, so you don't have to remember to keep up with things. So also, promotional doesn't always mean sale. It's not having a sales calendar planned out, because like some of us have talked about, if you're always offering a deal, people are just going to wait until the next deal before they book. So promotional just means like, what are you talking about? What do you want to put out there? Like, what's your focus in advertising on currently? So promotional calendar just means like, what are we focusing our advertising on today? So in this chapter, you have learned the essentials of business ownership. Even if you do not plan to go into business for yourself, developing a sense of ownership for your workplace can help you advance to a valued and trusted position wherever you work. However, if you are among the many people who dream of having their own business, you know that the autonomy gained by being your own boss can be enormously rewarding. You realize as well that a business owner carries the significant weight of risks and responsibilities. In order to succeed with your own skincare center, you must be aware of every detail required of business ownership and strive to attend to each one, either personally or with expert advice from outside professionals. Not doing so can foil your efforts and lead to serious financial and/or legal problems. Accepting responsibility for your business will help you avoid such problems and forge for yourself a future in which your creativity and vision offer you countless lifelong rewards. Thank you for spending your time with me listening to this reading of Chapter 3, Business Basics in your Salon Fundamentals Esthetics textbook.